moments where HellRaisers didn't really show up on Dust, and we had cache issues for Orbit, so I think they will be relatively happy with this overall.
Yeah, it's mostly like a stability issue, right? We've seen moments of brilliance. We've also seen fumbles, just as you said, and I think that all of that needs to just get laid to rest. We need some consistency here. We need to have the team playing the fundamentals to just continually remember what the best decision is to make. And we can't see errors apart from aim errors in that department, because some of the aim errors are forgivable. Maybe the other guy just destroyed you. Maybe he hit his first bullet when you were going to hit your second. But when it comes to the decision making, right, the factor that matters way before we got that. I don't know who that was, or if anyone else could hear it, but
I hope they did. I thought we were in some kind of a frag movie for a second there. Bubble and then KL are both going to get themselves kills. Here we go. We're right into the action, thick of it. No slow pistol this time around for HellRaisers, who are looking to make 5 out of 5. Although a lot of the pistols have gone down to the wire. It hasn't been complete closeouts. Meanwhile, the bomb on A, not getting planted. They're still a bit weary in case a player is residing in CT side. But after the frag onto NKL, that alleviates the pressure. Bomb will go down instantly afterwards. And HellRaisers in the advantageous position. Victor coming through from CT side. Defensive HellRaisers will be just backing away though. Stiko from the ramp puts down Victor, and it's looking good. Orbit have got a kill back from Bubble, but his position has been compromised. Tech9 through, headshot lands, but now it's Stiko who just has to really land one shot and he should be golden. Bubble in the meanwhile just spinning around, hoping he gets a random headshot, but he's gonna get picked off from Stiko. And HellRaisers, they're good for 5 and 5.
yeah, did he actually have 4 kills? Yeah, he got 4 kills in that round. Wow.
Yep.
Gets the 1v1. He got a little bit close there. If the kill comes out on Stiko right away, then the ability to defuse is there. But Bubble, after that retake, so close to actually pulling it off, but doesn't quite do it. And HellRaisers steal up another pistol. And that's all that they're going to talk about at the end of the day. Not how close the pistols were, right? Not how many pistols that you didn't win, just how many that you did. And HellRaisers can see here, or can show for themselves that they've been able to start themselves off in a really good way. Lots of momentum on each of these maps, and it's been a huge reason they're able to win map 2.
So similar setup to what we saw from HellRaisers on their T side, I should say, of Cash, with a MAC-10 UMP, but a lot of emphasis put onto the assault rifles for the same reason. They know that Orbit are going to have the force up. They know that Orbit can try and play aggressively, so they're going to make sure they have as much firepower as possible to repel this push, while also keeping the SMGs for the farming potential. Bubble just with a deagle. We'll be wanting to move towards that AWP as soon as possible on Mirage CT side. And Spyleader with a very aggressive angle. But the thing is, with this play, you can probably only get the 1 kill and have to try and back away, and he's done just that, but he's a lot of damage. Although Stiko is down to 57 as well, the 5-7, and he's going to be rattling off a few bullets down range, but it's Bondix MAC-10 that will come good. Zero in the meanwhile, on to Bubble, and Spyleader, who was really in a sketchy position, couldn't do a great deal more than just the 1 frag he's picked up. So HellRaisers will be securing themselves a second round.
You know, I'm just really surprised to see that Orbit did not decide to at least stack a site like 4-1. Like, there's a lot of value in having 1 person at the other site, even if you have 4 players at 1. And it's unreasonable to do that on a rifle round, right? But on eco where you have to take risks, like having 3 players versus what could be a 5-man execute makes little to no sense. You're putting so much pressure on each player to get a kill. And it's not like it's a full eco, right? Where there's even more reason to stack. But this is an eco where you're putting money into it, right? You really want to come in with the win. And just to have 2 people on the other side of the map not really doing anything if it isn't the case that people come to them, that's a big deal. Now there's 1 kill. They've gotten 2 in the round. That's really nice. And then they pick up the AK, or actually that's the UMP. So not so bad for HellRaisers to lose. But like, let's say we had the 3 people forward at A, a couple of them got a kill. Maybe there was another person in the site that get to pick up the slack and do 50 damage to a couple players who are hurt. Then who knows? You have a different round on your hands. You stop the defuse. And actually a timeout. Kind of a weird time to do it, I feel like. Who is this?
Bondic timed out.
Oh, it's a technical pause.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a technical pause. Bondic DC'd from the server. Oh, looks like it was a very short pause, and we're right back into it, fortunately. Nothing too serious. Maybe just a game crash. But yeah, that UMP is in the hands of Punish, who has the Kevlar as well. So that is a little bit of a wincing blow for HellRaisers. Does surprise me a little bit that he wouldn't toss that across to Victor, though.
Now, one thing I think that Orbit are doing here is because they saw last round that HellRaisers went out to mid. They tried to get mid control, didn't go for any more information, then they just fell back to A. So that means that Orbit could get away with stacking a site like this, and HellRaisers might just run back into them. But it looks like instead of going back to A, HellRaisers have decided to go down mid for once. So kind of a really good counter to where Orbit's heads are at maybe.
Typically in these rounds, you're going to stack one of the bomb sites. You're not going to stack mid.
Yeah.
So this allows HellRaisers to really just try to slowly but surely edge their way into a site to make sure that the strength in numbers approach with the advanced weaponry compared to Orbit will come good. And with Angel breaking down Orbit first, that's one hell of a way to start things off. For now, they'll quickly realize, okay, no one's on B. It's going to be an A stack. And they can start to send Angel with his UMP over there. If he dies, it's no big deal. He can replenish with an AK in the next round. He has spotted multiple players. Looks like he's happy enough to just back away for now. UMP is still a decent SMG even with armor. The armor penetration is solid on the weapon, so...
Oh yeah, you can carry this over to the next round and it'll be good enough, you know?
Especially if people start skimping on head armor, which is possible when you're against AKs because you don't necessarily need the head armor. So that's really where the UMPs, like these double mind games, come into effect.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, even if they do have head armor, it's like, you know, there's no CT rifle that's going to get you the one-hit headshot no matter what. So ultimately, yeah, it would kill you in one hit, but I think they'll kind of take that in spite of knowing that. Now, it's HellRaisers to clean this round up 5 alive, and we saw them start up Cash with just such a big bank. I mean, they ended up losing a couple of rounds, but it just didn't make them falter whatsoever. They were able to move into each round with their feet firmly planted in the ground, all the utility that they needed, and as many options as they wanted to explore.
So no head armor on Bubble or NKL.
Wow.
Oh, that shot from Bubble, just pure timing. As soon as the smoke's down, there is a chance that that shot pushes in. Typically, the smoke will just screen off for any player jumping onto the boxes, make sure that they're safe. Well, that's a big opening pick, and they can see what that means to Orbit now. They relocate the AWPer of Bubble. Goes to look through connector. That Molotov actually forces him out of position. Meanwhile, Punisher's trying to hold down on short by his lonesome, but he's been picked off, and now Victor has the arduous task of trying to face off against 3 separate terrorists from 3 different locations, and Angel, the first of which, is just going to put him down with ease. 3 on 3, 2 AWPs. In fact, just the 1 AWP in play, pardon me.
Whoa.
I thought for a second HellRaisers had one, but that's not the case. Oscar is going to go down. He's probably the player that would have had the AWP, but instead, Orbit trying to retake. The AWP's not so great in this position, but Bubble is going to get the drop onto Angel as he went for that frag onto NKL, who was the first player out of window. Bonding now, trying to hold the angle. He's not going to get it done. Bubble picked up the AK and used it against the terrorists, and a solid retake. A very important one for Orbit to stabilize.
Yeah, quite solid. I actually thought that Bondic getting that first kill on whoever was pushing up Cat was going to seal the deal for Orbit. You know, the retaking from kind of the worst spot, which is out the door and the window and kitchen. It's where everybody has most of their attention focused. So you know at least one player is coming there because it's the most common rotate spot for A players, whereas the other ones take a little bit longer to get to. So it's, you know, the jig is up at that point if you have 2 players coming out of market. But ultimately, they both put their work together and turn out to win the round without losing either of them. Yeah. A huge win for them was also recovering the AWP, or keeping it around in that 2v2 last round.
Yep. Bubble switched to the AK and then went back again to the AWP after the retake. So now HellRaisers, who have been comprehensively smacked away from the B site, are looking to try their luck over on connector. Spy leader holding the close angle. Zero's going to be coming up. Going to make sure that short is covered, but in doing so, he gives his back to Spy leader, who will oblige with the free kill. Takes no damage in the process. Great start for Orbit once again. And this is where you're looking at Oscar really to step up and get some picks and see if he can drag his team back into this round.
No, A is actually relatively weak here. The 2 smokes on the right side of the site will just push everyone out into a bad spot. NKL, a little bit useless, but a kind of a funky CT smoke that he can see around. That might be a thorn on their side, and that Punisher actually gets a kill on Cat as well, but there's Bonding to answer back.
Bubble did just see that smoke coming out, so he knows the player is likely going to come out of Palace any second now. That's why his scope's still trained up there, but After missing the first shot, he just gets punished straight up from Oscar, and with the bomb planted, Orbit could be letting yet another round slip away from them. The retake is still very doable, couple of flashes. But Angel's playing this position, I was about to say flawlessly, up until the point he got his head tucked clean off his shoulders. Now it's all you've got to feel on Oscar landing these AWP shots. The first one goes down. Last two players to his left-hand side. Of course, he's not going to know this, but he can hear the pitter-patter of footsteps on at least one of those players who's on the site. Smart play. Now it's all on Bondic. Typically, you're going to have a player in ramp and one in Palace, and they know this, and NKL with 2 kills. He's going to give Orbit the round, but again, it was one of those kind of situations, Lourdes, where I thought they threw it away.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, okay, so Angel's in a spot where they have 2 at Tetris and then one rotating big flank. Tetris is actually not a great after plant spot. It's like you always want to have somebody there, but it's not like one of the most powerful ones, right? Where you can stay alive, because if someone closes in on your angle, you pretty much have to get 1 kill or you die. I mean, it's tough to make that spot more useful than giving it up right away and looking for a headshot. So Angel looked to took a fight, and he could have won it. And if he won it, you know, maybe the round is different. But I'm not sure I can fault him for trying to take that fight early, because if the longer you wait, the harder the angle becomes to become. The harder the angle, the harder the angle is, I should say.
Well, speaking of angles, Punish has just gone ahead and pushed right up mid, trying to fend off any initial aggression from HellRaisers. And when you have such a lack of utility, I mean, this is one of the plays that you'll go for, especially on maps like Mirage, because you're very susceptible to just being smoked out of sights, and the retake is absolutely brutal to go for. So Bubble's also going to be playing an advanced position, and they both get kills, so the risk pays off. HellRaisers, though, have managed to battle back in rounds before this in a 3-on-5s, so you wouldn't put it past them. Angel goes in, gets the spray just about onto Spy Leader, and with so much time remaining now, Orbit, they can't take this round for granted.
Orbit still have 2 dedicated in the site at B. Like, no one's even pushed up on Cat. Bubbles in CT. This means that B is a lot stronger right now, a lot more fortified than A is. The problem is that either site is great because you can retake. And oh, here's a fight taken by Victor. He actually pushes up. I don't know why. They kind of had the man advantage. Now they don't.
That's just as I said before. HellRaisers, they've came back from these kind of odds so many times.
Oh!
And Punisher doesn't get the kill. Oscar drops down for his second consecutive frag, turning this round on its head. NKL now must be wondering what the hell just happened to the rest of his team, as Oscar's going to get his third. And that right there is Orbit tilting.
That was... look at this. It's... Man, it could have been 3-3. Orbit would have a save on the... Like, they would have been able to put HellRaisers into a save, most likely. And they had a 3v5 situation, or a 3v4 situation. Victor pushes B apps when they're 4v3, and they had 2 people in the site at B. That means if HellRaisers go B, that's what they want. And instead, they try to get that info early for kind of little to no incentive, you know? It's and now they have a full save on their hands.
That's the issue with the CT side. It's the nightmare. The economy so up and down. And Stiko's called this as well. Mac 10 in for him. He wants to get this farm. A solid call. He'll be going in first, an expendable weapon. And he could very well just pick up quite a few kills here. Second kill, not quite on point. Angel comes in with the AK, helps his teammate out. So, a bit of deja vu from Cash, where HellRaisers took a 5-2 lead. Ended up converting it very convincingly in a 16-3 on their CT side in the end. Stiko with the Tech 9. In fact, the Mac 10, pardon me, with double kills after his initial ones. That's a lot of money, actually, that he's just got for himself. And Zero finishes things off.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of bank. And it's, you know, not even that important on T side. Like, you'll almost always be able to get a put together a buy unless your money's in a horrible spot. And now it's Orbit kind of on the back foot. Backs against the wall. We see them on Pharmacists so many times, right, on their CT side. It's just a really bad place to be in. Pharmacists are especially bad long ranges, so this map is huge. You have angles like CT to A ramp. You have window to back of mid. You know, these are really hard spots to do a lot of damage with the Pharmacist with. So pushing like this makes the most sense to do, but Bondic actually kills both people on it. 2 headshots, 10 HP left, and he stays alive with Palace control. He's not supposed to get that kill, Meadows.
No, he's not supposed to get any of them, really.
Yeah.
But we live in opposite worlds, apparently. HellRaisers, who started so poorly, are finishing strong. Oscar on the kill on Spy Leader, who was desperate to get some information and maybe a frag as well, just walks into his death. And Punisher and Bubble, not really with a hope between the two of them. Punisher's going to be darting up and down, hoping to land the kill. He does do that in fairness, but still there's 4 angry terrorists to deal with, one of which is Angel, who just witnessed Zero die in front of his eyes. Desperate for revenge. The rest of the T's, though, pushing on to A. No one is home. This will be a free plant, and you'd assume a free round.
Yeah, 8 players on this recon mission have officially circumvented the last 2 remaining CTs. Are going to scout around, but find no adversity. And that's just going to put Orbit in a position where they'd probably decide to save. It's 2v3, you know, they might think about it, but they're so far away from the site that they burn maybe a quarter of the time remaining on the bomb just to get there. And then they've got to find the after plants. They've got to get the kills. So the value, though, of stacking a site is that if they come to you, you're fortified. If they don't come to you, you have a good spot to save. So it kind of works out both ways, apart from actually being able to seal up the round, which they weren't in a good position to do because they're down a man anyway.
Well, the key thing there, as we can see the scoreboard up, is Victor is yet to frag, and he is one of the guys that you need for Orbit to be on form.
Right.
0 kills after 8 rounds.
Yeah, and it's, you know, more of the decision making that you look to try to explain that. And we saw him with that B push and that 4v3 that was kind of rough. It's really hard to say. Sometimes you get away with that push, and then you look like a hero or whatever because you turned a great round to an even more decisive one. But sometimes you look back and you think, well, that round resulted in 2, and that could be one of the reasons they lose. So it is rough. And ultimately, if he's just like a high-intensity fragger, like usually if you have a player like that on CT side, you try to put them to work, right? You want them to kick gunfights. You don't want them holding really safe angles, securing one frag and going down. You want them to put them in a position where they can move around, try to get a kill, work the map, get a good feel for the other team, try to get in everyone's heads. So maybe he's just being used too passively. Maybe that's why he had the urge to try to push in that situation. But either way, he's not being effective right now.
HellRaisers once again just going to be playing this one very slow, just waiting for Orbit. You did see Bubble originally deciding to go up mid and try and get themselves an early kill.
What are you laughing about, Vince?
It has nothing to do with power. Let's just say that. But again, this is pretty much just grinded to a halt. Orbit seemingly out of ideas. Bubble's missing the shot there. One he would have landed earlier on, I'm pretty sure. And that could have been the gateway back into this round and indeed back into this map. And the best is yet to come from HellRaisers. Oscar is a god on the CT side with the AWP. So these are much needed rounds for Orbit. They need to get something to work with, some foundations to build upon. Punish up with the first kill. The FAMAS is going to get a second one as well. The grenade lands right next to him. Oh, it's actually dinked and finished off Oscar. I didn't think you'd get more than 1 kill from that position, but he's got 3. He's now going to burn to death, though. And it's either burn or bullets. Which do you choose? And it's going to be the fire that ends his life. That being said, Orbit have the player advantage, albeit with 2 pistols with no Kevlar. But Bubble still has his AWP. 20 seconds. Going to be faking out one of these CTs. They know where NKL is. He has dropped 10 seconds. They have to go for this plant. And in doing so, the player in B-Apps could very well pounce on top of this one. The bomb's been planted and Angel gets himself a second headshot. HellRaisers dodge. A massive opportunity from Orbit. I will be so disappointed they didn't convert that round.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love how HellRaisers played that. As much as Orbit had the man advantage there, like they did everything perfectly. Like they got onto the site, right? They had the bomb. They had a couple of really good spots just to sit and think for a second. They plant the bomb. They fake plant the bomb. They get the reloads out and they bait a peek. They find one player. A shot is missed, though, from Bubble. That was pretty critical. But after that, Angel capitalized in such a big way. I love how he came back to re-peek him in a situation where you know the op is most likely going to push up because you'd expect him to be playing it a little bit more safe. And he takes down Bubble, and then that third sequence was just perfect. So really nice round from Angel, and good 2v3 there from HellRaisers. 2v4 even, I'm not sure.
This is still salvageable from Orbit, but again, it has to start right here, right now. They got round loss bonus. They've got money. What they don't have is rounds, and that needs to change. HellRaisers, very similar to their aggressions on cash. Nothing too fancy, nothing out of the ordinary. Orbit, in the meanwhile, don't have a massive amount of grenades to play with. Hello. Uh-oh.
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 Well.
Hello.
Way she goes. That's the way she goes.
Brilliant.
Paula, you want to show us what you were doing there during the game, by any chance?
Come on, Paula.
Off camera, Paula's different. Very different person.
He is. just try to make them as awkward as possible. Anyway, clearly we have some technical issues. I think the server may have gone down, internet may have gone down. I'm not sure what's happening, but it's 7-2. HellRaisers in the driver's seat. They are looking very strong indeed on their T side.
Yeah.
Orbit have just not really been teeing off. They haven't really done a great deal. So if it continues in this fashion, it could be over pretty soon.
Yeah, like HellRaisers are able to pick A, B, or mid, and then win most of their rounds, right? That's one of the strongest advantages you have on T side is that you don't have like one site that you're really good at, or you don't have like mid that you're only good at. It's like you can literally take your pick, and most of the time you'll win. So they've given up a couple rounds, and once it was versus an A take, or once it was versus a B take. But overall, Orbit don't really have a good idea. It's got to push their way into the site. Oscar has the op, so he's not going to be able to help his teammate if he dies, and he doesn't need to. Bondic gets that frag. Now there's going to be one alive. That's Punisher. Wow, 5-7 gets 2 frags and shuts it down, and that's actually versus 3 players now in HellRaisers.
He's not done just yet either. There's another headshot. And oh, it's Bubble. Bubble gets it instead, but Punisher finishes the round off. I was getting excited thinking Punisher could be on for the ace. He did get 4 kills, which is crazy work from him. And 3 assault rifles go through into round 13. So a much needed respite round for Orbit. And now you can see the damage that's inflicted on HellRaisers trading back and forth. They're into a force buy themselves. Well, I should say a full buy, but it is going to be with a lack of grenades and a Tech 9 speaker.
Yeah, it's like they're making do with what they have, and it's not a great place to be in. But whoa, nice pick from Oscar, and that's a trade one with Bubble. And we saw this. That was kind of like the storyline of Dust 2, who was winning the op duels and who was turning those 5v4s into round conversions. And now we see Oscar having that performance, turning that into a T-side round. Whether or not that'll actually matter now, Stico as well won't be able to recover that gun, so it's still gonna be on the Tech 9. Not too bad of a place for Orbit to be in, but they have lost an offer, and they have lost vision on mid.
3 smokes left with a Molotov. In fact, 4 smokes, pardon me. Stico has 1. So it's just Oscar who's running without grenades at this point in the round, and Victor's trying to do something to claw this one back into an advantageous position for Orbit, but all he does is gift wrapped himself away to Angel. Did 86 worth of damage in the process, but Angel will reign supreme in that confrontation. Now Spy Leader on window gets smoked out. He's going to have to relocate into jungle, and in doing so now, mid-control completely taken from HellRaisers. They have the choice of either boosting in mid, they can go up short as well. Yeah. Boosting a window, I should say, or going up short, and it appears that short is the decision.
Here's where we should see some fundamental CS. I think it's kind of weird where the bomb is placed right now. I mean, it's postured to go towards Cat, while a couple players are in underpass, but someone's got to support Stico. I mean, he can't be on Cat with the bomb by himself. I guess luckily enough, it doesn't matter. Oh, Oscar's already pushed up, and 3 of the CTs are all at A. So HellRaisers can avoid kind of bringing this down to skills, right? Down to mechanical talent, and have made the proper read and completely circumvented the CTs.
And at this point, Orbit, I mean, it's just going to be a save, straight up. But, oh, Spy Leader's not going to get his weapon out of this round, though. Oscar was too alert to the situation, knew that Orbit would want to save what little weaponry they have left, and NKL could be next to fall prey to Bondic, and he does. Bondic with lightning fast reactions gets the better of NKL, putting Punisher his back to a wall, quite literally, as he's now the next player to step up. He does take down Bondic, but now his position is known. HellRaisers' economy, though, isn't great itself, as it's just highlighted. As I mentioned that, they bring up the scoreboard. You can see they can't really afford to lose too many weapons themselves.
Yeah, after trading, though, it's like it's a war of attrition, right? That round right there that we just saw HellRaisers win was critical, because now money's reset in a situation where everybody spent everything they had. So there could be a potential for a 3-for-1 there, and Victor's picked up the MP9, anticipating a double save. We have almost everyone spending whatever they can to try to scrape together some type of buy. Nades come out, but best weapon we have is the 1M4 that was saved. That's a saving grace for Orbit, who recognize the bad position they are in economically, which seems to be something that we repeat over and over again. There's a first kill, though. Bondic, who was able to get both kills in Palace last time, manages to get taken down.
And he is currently top fragging for HellRaisers as well, which isn't normally a situation you expect to see. So kudos to him, although he did miss out on a potential double in Palace this time around. Bubble going to go back in with an Eagle, very nearly makes it work against Angel. He's now able to pick up the Molotov, gets caught by Punisher, who was just tapping across in the window hole. Now with the smokes and the flashes being expended, Orbit aren't entirely sure what's about to come at them. There's a minute and 10 to play with, so 0 and Oscar could snake their way through connector towards the B side, but they seem hell-bent on actually getting this bomb planted right now on A, and this could be at the cost of the round. Unbeknownst to them, they do have Punisher pushing through from the CT side, but it's the main man here could very well be Victor, who is traversing his way round the back of T-Spawn. He's taken quite a while, though, to get here, and HellRaisers have called this.
Far too long, it seems. Time's ticking down. Oscar's helping out on the crossbar. Gets both frags. Wow, unnecessary, but huge kill as well. And Zero gets the final one in a situation where they were really relying on this big flank to help him out. And I think it's good they didn't push out a CT, but I think Victor maybe should have. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. Like, Victor came up A ramp. They had enough time to try to perform the retake right with him walking the whole way. They were just fully cognizant of the fact that someone was in Palace or A ramp, though, so it almost didn't matter whether or not he ran or walked, and it came down to the kills where Oscar found a really good spot. So he took a risk by pushing in the connector, right? But it's so important that when you don't have that presence to try to get the info. And here's a kill that comes out from Zero.
As a result of their previous force fire, they're into another force, with it being the last round of the half. So this aggression is pretty much warranted from Orbit. They haven't had any luck when it came to the rifle rounds by and large, and Zero is going to make a Punisher barbecue. NKL and Bubble, 5.7s, very powerful weapon. Saw Pimp, I think it was at Sevolan, pull off some craziness with the 5.7 on ramp. I think he got 3 or 4 kills, and it was a mind-blowing performance. So it is a very strong weapon in the right hands, but when you're against 4 of HellRaisers who have been firing all cylinders these last 2 maps, it's not looking good. That being said, though, NKL could be in the thick of the action here. He's going to be coming round the corner, spots a multitude of players, a 1-for-1 trade. Normally with a 5.7 against AKs, you say, good job, but in the context of this round, it really doesn't mean that much to HellRaisers. They still have a massive death grip on round 15. As Bubble is the last to fall, down he goes, and up go HellRaisers, 11-4 in the lead at half-time. And, well, we were curious if the cash performance, if the form would continue. I think we've had our questions answered.
Yeah, an absolutely stellar half. I mean, they met their quota and then some. The 11 rounds right there, the T-side rounds especially. You know, you do it on the CT side, then you think, oh, you know, you could fall apart on the T side, but I don't see that happening. You know, I think for Orbit, the fact that they got 4 rounds is just so much better than 12, or excuse me, it's so much better than 3, but they're still in such a tough spot.
What's pretty mind-blowing to me, because we can actually see the scoreboard on the other screen, Punisher finished on 17 for 9, the stand-in, even though his team picked up 4 rounds.
Wow.
So
that is fantastic.
That's pretty ridiculous. And you're looking at Victor, finishes 3 for 10. Bubble, 14 for 12. Consistently, Bubble is a sick player. But it was Victor that went walkies. He went absent. Yeah. Punisher stepped up, but it just didn't matter. There you can see the scoreboard for yourself. Punisher, top fragger on the entire server, with his team getting wrecked.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy how that happens. The stand-in just, you know, maybe actually feels more pressure than some of the teammates to try to impress. Maybe they're looking for a team, right? Maybe this is a good opportunity to showcase their skills.
That's it, like putting themselves in the shop window, like saying, this is what I can do, boys, pick me up, you know? So he's been playing well. That's 2 HEs for HellRaisers, so a lot of emphasis put into utility in this round as opposed to Kevlar. Just 2 Kevlars picked up. A lot of confidence in their one-tap potential. Here's the first HE, is going to land by the feet of a couple players. Negligible damage, though, to Bubble, but that headshot is going to go... Oh, my goodness, Oscar! He is going to survive with 28 health and picks off 3 beautiful headshots. And he might not be done just yet. Very nearly lands another one through the smoke. That would have been the icing on a delicious cake, and he's still not done just yet. How is he still alive for that long? He's bought up enough time for Angel and Zero to position themselves in B-apps. It all falls to Victor. Very poor first half. This would go some way to making amends if he clutched this. It would be a 1v4. USP picked up. He's making noise through B-apps, so the CTs can hold fast. They know what's coming at them. And it's only a matter of time before Victor will fall, as the rest of his team have. And there we go. It's Zero who puts HellRaisers one step closer towards the major offline qualifier spot.
Yeah, like, and we're about to see this amazing 3K. Like, you always believe that Oscar's going to get the kill until he doesn't, and he almost always delivers, and there's 3 quick headshots. But it seemed like HellRaisers were actually set up pretty well for that B hit. Like, they threw the preliminary nade, and then they threw a flash to follow up. So it seems like they almost anticipated Orbit to go B for sure, and they were completely right about that. So apart from the actual you know, skill that went into those headshots. I think they kind of had the mental advantage as well, having a good read on that round.
Orbit with the force. This is going to be one of their opportunities to maybe bounce back. If they win this round, HellRaisers' economy will be in tatters. If they can win it cleanly, they can take some of those assault rifles through into round 18, but that's a lot of hypotheticals. And the way that HellRaisers have been playing over these last couple maps, you assume that they'd be good to go. Here we go, though. Orbit pushing into the site. It's a three-pronged attack. 2 players through short, 1 B apps, but it's a complete lockdown. Stico with 3 Mag 7 headshots, make it a 4th one. And it's going to be Oscar that gets the last.
4 Mag 7 headshots. Whoa. Look at his money right now. $7,300 round after the pistol. That's huge.
Money to burn.
Yeah.
Orbit, the complete opposite. They're on the map begging for money.
Yeah.
Stico was just slapping them down with ease.
They desperately needed the plant there. I mean, they decided to force up, and who knows? Those shots it maybe takes 2 shots to kill some of those people without that actual headshot. The ones on apps, no, but the ones that I think the one guy was coming up, Cat, like he just got blown away, just clotheslined.
So Orbit, the situation at hand is you assume that they won't get this round, and therefore they'll be 10 rounds behind in a rifle round that could be one of their last opportunities to get anything done in this matchup. 2 kills for Bondic straight away. Nothing too surprising so far on this round. Oscar has died, but so have the rest of the terrorists, barring Punisher, and Angel will put him down. 14-4, all on this round for Orbit, you've got to feel.
Yeah, there's no other way to put it, really. Exact same position they were left on cash where they lost the second pistol. The HellRaisers have literally won 6 pistols in a row. An absolutely stellar showing from them. Again, just speaks to how well that Orbit played on Dust 2 and for some reason can't find their footing again.
Yeah, that cash performance was rough to watch, honestly. Seemed like nothing went right for them, but HellRaisers now have a very real good opportunity to close this game out in the next few moments. Punisher and Victor with their AKs and plenty of grenades as well have to try and execute onto the site and take down Angel, Oscar, and 0-0 is pretty low, but there's Oscar with the op shot. The bomb has been dropped as well, goes in for seconds, misses his shot, uncharacteristically for him, how he's been playing today. And this will afford Victor the opportunity to get the bomb planted. He has a flash as well if he wants to pop flashes way out, but there is smoke obstructing the view from the other 2 HellRaisers players. Oh my goodness, he actually goes for the spray through the smoke.
Yeah.
That would have been a dirty frag, but instead, HellRaisers are going to claim their 15th round, and Orbit, they've got to save 11 rounds now.
In that position in the 1v2, you got to decide where you think the 2 players are coming from most likely, and then have some, have some angles that you expose yourself to that you're okay with, because if you're in the 1v2, you're already at a disadvantage, and so taking a risk to make it a 1v1 is really important. And I think the biggest thing for Victor there was the smoke dissipating, and he thought, okay, maybe this will provide me enough cover where the CTs will push up or someone will push up in my area. I can kill him and try to get map control there. And since I planted for it, actually, would be a good spot, but it didn't last long enough, and his hope slowly disappeared, as we saw.
As did the rest of his team. So, Orbit, AKs and a CZ, plus the Galil. Again, Oscar with his AWP. Bondic on top of balcony. Pretty standard position so far. He gets the spray through the smoke into the face of Bubble and nearly changes his aim across to stop the onslaught into Shadow, but instead his teammates are there. The bomb is planted. In the meanwhile, through the smoke, Oscar misses the first shot, goes in for the second one, but Victor spins around with the AK and does the work. Meanwhile, the CZ work from Spy that takes down 2, and Stico now has a 1v2 to salvage this round. And he's going to get caught from the side, so Orbit will keep this match going forward a little while longer.
A drop in the bucket, right? I mean, it was a round that they actually won versus an A-take. They did that. Bondic actually got the first kill. I think Oscar got the second, and somehow they still lost, mainly due to a P250 or a couple of really nice frags. But it doesn't say enough. It doesn't say enough, and it's really up to Orbit to prove it to us that they can come back here by not only winning the one round that they did on A, but doing it in some kind of sustainable default, or hitting us up with some really impressive, innovative B take that maybe could throw HellRaisers through a loop. Something new that'll work over and over again. Because It's 10 match points right now for Orbit before they get knocked out of this minor and don't qualify for the major qualifier.
Yeah, this is everything really to Orbit at this point. You know, for them to get through to the major qualifier and potentially qualify for the major itself would be a massive step forward for them. But HellRaisers hold the keys. And right now, they're not budging an inch. Neither team is, in fairness. Orbit realized that one mistake will cost them this match now. Oscar will be peering down towards ramp. The execute could come in. There's plenty of grenades still in the hands of Orbit, so they can go for the standard smokes from jungle.
They're trying to walk up.
Walking up, this could be right into the arms of Oscar, but he actually misses the shot. You expect him to land those because he's such a good player, but that's a massive miss, and that puts a lot of pressure on Bondik, who has multiple angles to cover, and he's isolated from the rest of his team, especially as the smokes are now connecting with the flashbangs. He's going to spin around, gets one kill. Is he good for any more? Yes, he is. Angel's going to come in for kills as well. Angel gets 2. And just when you thought that Oscar had derped them out this round, HellRaisers are right back in it once more, and there's only 20 seconds, and look where the bombs dropped. It really couldn't be worse. That being said, though, nice frag onto Bondik, who went jumping, looking for information. That could end up costing HellRaisers massively. Molotov into CT. He's going to isolate these 2 players, one of which is cooking a little bit. Stico's down to very low health, and now it's on Victor. Had a poor first half, but he's been picked off from Angel. Great retake, and I've got to say, Bondik, I think, only got 1 kill from that position, but he held off for so long.
They did, yeah. I mean, he got